Hi guys, and today I'm going to remake the video that I did on how to make a simple web form, and like the other video was, this is the first in the series. I'm remaking this video because I had to take the other one down because something funny happened with it. So, what we're going to do in the next couple of tutorials is we're going to build a custom hand-built web form using PHP. That means a couple of things. You're going to have to run it on a server which requires PHP, and you're going to need some basic PHP knowledge, and you're also going to see just how easy this is to build. And what we're going to do is we're going to do a series of videos showing a contact form and how we can send emails to the owner of the contact form based on what they enter in the contact form. So basically it's how to make a contact form. Now for this we're going to need PHP and a working mail server which our PHP is running on. Without that you can't really expect to do any of this stuff. So that is why we're going to be working live on the server where everything we need to do is running. So this is going to be a series of videos. So this is the example I've got for this video. It's called Simple Web Form, and it's just a page with 2 fields in it, and I'll show you how these are built. A name field and a field to enter your message. If you click the fire button now, which is like fire it over, then nothing will happen. You'll just get a server error because we haven't made the script yet. But today we're going to make a basic script, and over the next couple of tutorials we're going to really advance this. If you want to get to this, to look at the source, you can go to dev.tomdesperate.com/simpleform4screencast, and that'll take you there. But yeah, today we're just going to build it. First, let's have a look at the HTML that takes to build this. We've just got an index.html file. Pretty simple. We've got doc type HTML declarations, typical head. We've got a div with an ID of wrap with an h1 tag in it, and we've got a form tag, and this is where all our form is going to be wrapped in, and that form has got an action attribute. That's the file that it fires you over to once someone submits that form. So if I have hit submit there and it says thanks.php, that is because that's what I've got in the action attribute, but you could put whatever you want in there. And then it's also just got a method of post. There's also a method of get, and get is unprotected, and it doesn't really matter which one you use as long as you remember which one you use. For later, I've just decided to put all my inputs, all my fields, wrap them in divs with IDs of input element and class of clear. That's just so that I've got some CSS abilities here on my style sheet to control the way the form looks. So each form element or each div has got a label element in it, and that's got a for attribute that portrays to the name attribute given to the input element that's below it. So name, message, and they all take that. So we've got a label for message, we've got a text area of name, message, and the form's going to use what's put in the name attribute later to submit our PHP script, and then we've just got a break, and then an imported type of submit with class a button, and a value of fire. The value is what goes in here. That's controlled by the value attribute. If I take that value out, it changes to submit, but that's Firefox specific. And when you have an input type of submit that's wrapped in a form element, the browser automatically knows that when the person clicks submit, it's to carry all that data and then execute the script that whatever they put in the action attribute. So when you click submit, it fires you over to thanks.php, and that's expecting to do all the things that you need to do. The script is actually send the email, and that script is what we're going to build. This is all just kind of precursor stuff. So I don't think we need to know any more about that. So what we need to do is create a file with whatever we've decided to put in the action variable. In my case it's thanks, but we could say anything. We could say script and then create a file with the name of that. And you'll see how easy this is to do the actual thing. So what we're first going to do is we're going to open and close our PHP tags. So we've now got somewhere to do all our stuff inside of the PHP tags. What we're going to do is we're going to make variables, like variables store data in PHP. So what we basically need to do is make a variable for each of these input elements. In this case there's only two, but we need to make a variable to hold the user input, so then that can be passed to the mail server. So let's do that now. The way we note a variable in PHP is with a $sign, but first I'm going to write a comment. This means a one-line comment, and that is going to be set up variables again. That's just being nice and friendly to ourselves there. So what we're going to do is create a variable for our name field and our our message field, since that's all we've got. But first, before we do that, we need to set up the form destination. What we mean by the destination is where all the submissions of the form go to. So this will be your email address, or just wherever you want it to send to. So in PHP we need to make a $sign variable. I'll just put the name of our variable. I'm gonna call it 2 because that's kind of standard when you're doing emails, but you could call this whatever you want. I'm just gonna set that equal. We're just gonna set the variable equal to our email address, but make sure it's in quotations. So in my case, I'm gonna do my email here. So we've now got stored in a variable called 2 where we want it to go to. Setting up these variables won't actually do anything yet, but you'll see how it plays in later. What we need to do next is set up the subject that we want. This is going to be the subject that will appear in the email when the form gets submitted. We could make an input for this so that the user could put a custom subject, but we're not going to do that. We're just going to hard code a subject, keep it uniform. So we're going to set up email subject. In my case, I'm just going to call this variable sub, just for shorthand. At this stage, it doesn't matter what you call this variable. A lot of people call it subject, but I'm just going to call it sub for shorthand. And we're going to set this to whatever we want to appear in the mail subject field.
Okay.
So this could just be message from cool form on their own, these variables don't actually do anything until we invoke something called the PHP mail function, but all will become clear later. So now we're actually going to grab the data that someone inputs into the name field and that someone inputs into the message field. I'm going to have PHP stick those in variables. So the way we do that is make a variable for our field. No, we don't. Next, we have to set up another variable that's standard to PHP, and that's the message variable. Again, you could use this, but this is what you put in this is what you want to actually appear in the message. We could set this equal to some static text, and that would work, but we want to grab the information from our fields. So this is how we do that. What we're going to do is say echo, meaning print out. No, actually we're not. We're going to do the dollar signs. This is kind of like a variable. Underscore, and then whether you choose get or post, we're going to put our name. You can also choose underscore request, which will work for either of them, but we're just gonna choose post for now. And then this is why those name attributes play, and this is how PHP identifies what it actually is. So in these square brackets, in the single quote mark, we put in the name of the thing we want to show. So we want the message variable to be equal to whatever the user inputted into the field with the name of name. And if we look at this field, we notice that it's got a name of name. So whatever a user inputs into that field will be displayed. So that's what that function's telling us to do. We've now got a few options. For this tutorial, we're just going to show you how to print out the information. So, we're going to do it on the same line. We're not going to use any HTML at this stage. This is a pure PHP email. Not even really with any HTML, and that'll come later. So this is just pure PHP formatting. So there won't be any line breaks. So it'll all be on the same line when we get the email. So what we're going to do that is a dot, which basically means right after you've spit that out, spit something else out, but it'll be right next to it. So then we're just going to spit out, in this case, another part of the post variable. And that part is going to be message. So now we've told it where we wanted to go, we've told it the subject we wanted to have, and we've collected the input from the user and stuck it in a variable called message. So we're going to end that statement, and what we're going to do next is invoke mail function. Now the mail function is standard to PHP, and it allows us to basically send mail to a web server. This is what I was talking about with this of things. So what we're doing right now is we've just stored the data. We haven't done it. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna write out the mail function, which is simply mail, and then inside the brackets we're gonna pass each variable as a parameter, and you have to do it in this order. First, we're going to pass in the variable, which will set equal to the email address we want it to go to. So in our case, that variable is called 2. The next variable that we need to pass in is called whatever the variable that you want the email subject to be was called. So that was why I did it in that order. Two first, and then subject, because it has to go in that order in the function. And then lastly, we just need to do our message. Like whatever variable our message is in. So that's why that was a very logical order to do it in. So all the stuff we need is parameters of the PHP mail function, meaning it'll pass it on. So that's how easy it is. Sorry about that, guys. As I was saying, we passed all the passed all our variables into the PHP mail function. So now, when we send something, we should actually receive an email. Now be warned that when we click submit, it's gonna fire us over to the script, and the browser is gonna execute, or rather the server is gonna execute that script. So, and because it's pure PHP, because we haven't echoed anything, then it's not gonna show anything. We could show something after the mail function where it says, I could just use the echo statement. I could echo a H2 element. Where it says sent. So that's just an example of what you could do. Yeah. So after the script is run, that'll at least give the user some visual feedback. Again, we're gonna enhance that ability later. So let's save our script, go back and refresh our page just to make sure any changes weren't broke. Gonna fill out a name. And we're also going to fill in a message, and I'm just going to say test. I'm going to hit the big submit button, and it fires over to our script and echoes a H1 element of send. What I'm now going to do is open up my mail that's stuck into the 2 variable. Now I should warn you that I've got a lot of spam, and that was just a noise saying that I've received an email. So it's obviously worked. Let's have a look at the email. And it has the subject we wanted, our name and our test on the same line. just like I said. So in the next tutorial we're going to format this output a bit and make it a nice with line breaks and maybe labels and all that stuff. So thanks for watching this quick video.